Have you ever looked at a flamingo and just thought, how is that even a real animal? Those impossibly long legs, that graceful S-shaped neck, and that shockingly vibrant pink plumage, they look like something straight out of a fantasy novel. They're found everywhere from the salt lakes of Africa to the high-altitude lagoons of the Andes, standing like delicate, colorful sentinels. But behind this bizarre beauty is an incredible evolutionary saga that stretches back millions of years. It's a story of survival, adaptation, and a few surprising family secrets that connect them to birds you would never expect. Today, we're going to unravel the mystery of the flamingo. To truly understand where flamingos come from, we need to rewind the clock way back. Over 30 million years to the Oligocene epoch. Back then, the world looked very different. Large parts of Europe and Asia, now dry land, were covered in vast wetlands and shallow inland seas. This was the perfect playground for the earliest ancestors of flamingos, a group of birds known as the Palaeolitids. Fossils show us that these ancient birds were already experimenting with the flamingo body plan. They had started to develop longer legs for wading and specialized beaks for filtering food from the water. Think of them as the prototypes, not quite flamingos, but clearly on their way. Palaeolitid fossils suggest they were strong swimmers, bridging the evolutionary gap between ancient shorebirds and the modern flamingos we know and love today. But the flamingo family tree has a major twist. For a long time, scientists were stumped about who their closest living relatives were. The answer, when it finally came, was a shocker. Genetic and fossil evidence has now confirmed that flamingos share a common ancestor with a completely different-looking group of birds, the grebes. Yes, those small, stocky diving birds you see in lakes and rivers worldwide. It sounds crazy, right? Flamingos are tall, elegant waders, while grebes are compact, expert divers. How could they possibly be related? But modern molecular biology doesn't lie. Deep in their DNA, the connection is undeniable. Scientists now believe that their common ancestor was a water bird that lived in shallow, warm waters, possessing a mix of traits from both groups. Over millions of years, this ancestral line split, with one branch evolving into the long-legged waders and the other into the foot-propelled divers. It's a classic case of divergent evolution, and one of the most surprising relationships in the entire avian world. By the time the Miocene epoch rolled around about 20 million years ago, true flamingos had finally arrived on the scene. And they didn't waste any time. These early flamingos spread across the globe, colonizing all sorts of aquatic habitats, from coastal lagoons to inland salt flats. As continents drifted and climates fluctuated, flamingos proved to be incredibly adaptable. They found their niche in some of the most extreme environments on the planet, highly salty, alkaline lakes where few other vertebrates could survive. This was an evolutionary masterstroke. By thriving where others couldn't, they carved out a world for themselves with fewer predators and almost no competition for food. This ability to conquer harsh environments became the secret to their long-term success, allowing them to flourish while other species faded away.
So how did they manage to thrive in such inhospitable waters? The answer lies in one of their most remarkable adaptations, their beak. A flamingo's beak is an engineering marvel. Unlike most birds, they feed with their heads completely upside down in the water. Their large bent beak acts like a highly efficient biological sieve. As a flamingo sweeps its head from side to side, it uses its thick, fleshy tongue to pump water in and out of its bill.
Inside the beak are rows of tiny comb-like filters called lamellae. These structures trap microscopic algae, brine shrimp, and other small crustaceans, while the salty alkaline water is expelled. Over millions of years, this filter-feeding mechanism became more and more refined, allowing flamingos to feast on a buffet of tiny organisms that were completely inaccessible to other birds. It's a perfect example of evolution shaping a unique tool for a unique job. And now, let's talk about their most famous feature, that brilliant pink color. Here's a fun fact. Flamingos are not born pink. When they hatch, their feathers are a dull gray or white. They literally have to eat their way to pinkness. Their diet of algae and crustaceans is rich in natural pigments, called carotenoids, the same compounds that make carrots orange and tomatoes red. When a flamingo eats these organisms, its body breaks down the carotenoids and deposits the pigments into its growing feathers, as well as its skin and beak. The more carotenoids they consume, the more vibrant their color becomes. This is why you see such a range of shades in a flamingo flock, from pale pink to almost crimson. The intensity of their color is a direct advertisement of their health and foraging success. A brightly colored flamingo is essentially shouting to its neighbors, "Look at me, I'm healthy, well-fed, and would make a great partner." This makes their color a crucial signal for social status and mating. Beyond their physical traits, flamingos are also defined by their intensely social lives. They are rarely ever alone. Instead, they live in enormous colonies, or flamboyances, that can number in the tens of thousands, or even hundreds of thousands of birds. Living in such a massive group has its advantages. There's safety in numbers, making it harder for predators to single out an individual. But it also requires a high degree of cooperation. This is most evident during their breeding season. Flamingos are famous for their synchronized courtship dances, where huge groups of birds march, stretch their necks, and flash their wings in unison. These elaborate, coordinated displays aren't just for show. Scientists believe these mass rituals help synchronize the entire colony's breeding cycle, ensuring that most birds nest, lay eggs, and raise their chicks at the same time. This communal effort is essential for raising the next generation in harsh, unpredictable environments where timing is everything. Today, there are 6 recognized species of flamingos, each with its own unique story of adaptation, scattered across Africa, South America, the Caribbean, and parts of Asia and Europe. While they all share the fundamental flamingo traits, long legs, webbed feet, and that specialized beak, each species has fine-tuned its lifestyle to its specific environment. The Andean flamingo, for instance, is a true high-altitude specialist. It lives in the Andes Mountains at elevations over 13,000 feet, where it has to endure freezing temperatures, thin air, and intense ultraviolet radiation. On the other end of the spectrum, you have the greater flamingo, the largest and most widespread species. It thrives in the warm, shallow lagoons and coastal mudflats from Africa all the way to southern Europe. Each species is a testament to the flamingo family's incredible versatility, showing how a single evolutionary blueprint can be modified to conquer a wide range of ecological challenges. For millions of years, the survival of flamingos has depended on a delicate balance: the right climate, right food sources, and the right habitats. But today, that balance is under threat. Human activity is putting immense pressure on the fragile wetland ecosystems that flamingos rely on. Pollution from industry and agriculture can poison their water and food sources. Unregulated tourism can disturb nesting colonies, causing parents to abandon their eggs. And perhaps most critically, habitat loss due to development, water diversion, and climate change is shrinking the wetlands they call home. Several flamingo species are now considered near threatened or vulnerable. Yet these birds are resilient. They have weathered ice ages, shifting continents, and dramatic climate swings. Conservation efforts are now underway around the world to protect their habitats and ensure these magnificent birds continue to grace our planet. In the end, the story of the flamingo is so much more than just a tale of a pretty pink bird. It's a profound narrative of deep time, of evolutionary innovation, and of astonishing endurance. When those ancient, waiting ancestors in prehistoric seas to the dazzling flocks that paint our modern landscapes. Flamingos are living monuments to nature's creativity. They prove that evolution can produce beauty and resilience from the most challenging conditions. They are a weird, wonderful, and absolutely perfect testament to the fact that even the strangest forms of life can find their place in the world and thrive. Thank you so much for joining me on this journey through the evolution of the flamingo. If you enjoyed this video and want to learn more about the incredible stories of the natural world, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. We'll see you in the next one.